the link. Okay, so this talk that Ram Dass gave back then, it's basically around Dharma and what it means and how it is so important in our lives to connect with and, you could say, become as one with. As once you do that, so much other stuff falls away, so much other attachments and so on. It's another, again, I say this, so I'm not going to say it anymore, how much, every time I listen to something, I think I know it all, but I don't, in terms of what Ram Dass has said in the past. Otherwise, I really don't know it all. And his example here of Dharma, a sweeper can be a better sweeper than the king can be as a king, right? It's the relationship that you have in that you are using every moment as a way to merge with the divine, I would say. Ram Dass says the game is to get to God, and you can only do that through understanding what your path is in this life, Dharma, and you can become completely identified with that law, the law that is the truth. What does he say? He says, so beings that are born into an incarnation to perform different acts, different kinds of work, different skills and personalities and bodies, each being is perfect in what they're needed to bring them to union with the divine. So he says at one point, there's no form that's any better than any other form, right? In the transmission of the spirit. Not one thing or another is better. And I had a perfect experience of that. I used to say I have the Mind Rolling podcast. Go to Mind Rolling Podcast on the Be Here Now network. And I said more than once, boy, am I lucky to be able to be doing the work that I do. It's so identified with my lifestyle, which has been around spirituality since the time I followed Ram Dass back to India. And so I was always espousing this as a, wow. I mean, I wasn't saying I'm so great. I was really saying, well, just to be able to do this, how dharmic is this, right? And anyhow, one time about a week after I think I said this again on a podcast, I went to get some shoes at a shoe store. Oh, so, God, here's the punchline. Every time that, or the point of the whole thing is that I used to say, I'm so happy being able to do my Dharma. It's better than selling shoes. That's what I said. It's better than selling shoes. And then I got out because I needed to buy some shoes a week later. And I go into a shoe store and the salesman comes to serve me. I mean, trust me, I have never had anybody take care of me that way. How he knew everything about, like I described, what kind of shoe I wanted. He knew everything about the shoe, about the arch, about everything. And he brought these shoes out, and he had other samples that he thought maybe this might be good for you too. He was completely devoted and one-pointed, doing his thing. And then I got it. It doesn't matter what you do, it's how you do it and your relationship with it, and you find that place no matter what it is. And it's Ram Dass. He goes on about the sweeper a lot in this talk. A perfect sweeper is able to embody the spirit far more than a priest might, or some other example like that. So yeah, you got to quiet down to be able to get there. You absolutely have to quiet down. And he says a billion times, and we all have been saying this, practice. You've got to find a regular place, a regular moment. Early in the morning is good. that you can just be there with the presence, however it is you want, just starting there. I don't care if it's just going and talking to Mother Mary, just about the troubles you're having, and about the hopes, and about the worrisome attachments, and so on, like that. Even just every day doing that, And so he talks a lot about that in this talk, and then there's also the thing of, if only I was in a better circumstance, if I had more money, or if I was able to take off work so that I could spend more time in the spiritual practice. It's that big if only. And, and of course, for each of us in every moment, it is perfect for us to go to God, as Ram Dass says, right? And his, we have all these stories would tell us. He tells this great story, which he's told before, and, I've heard it a billion times, but I love it every time. He goes to, and you'll hear Ram Dass tell it, and then some of you are going to write to me and go, do I need to hear you tell the same story he told? But I love the story. I got to tell it a little, okay? I was there, even. So, where he asked Maharaji, Neem Karoli Baba, how can I awaken Kundalini? He's going to India thinking he wants to be in a cave like Milarepa. This is his model, and this is what he thought his Dharma was. And Maharaji said, well, feed everybody. And then he says, well, I don't know. What about, what's the best way to find God? And Maharaji says, serve everybody. And it dawns on him later that it's not a matter of being in a projected, quote unquote, spiritual atmosphere that allows one to get to God. It's just the relationship with your moment. Everything that we are doing, if we can absorb into that and be one with it, then we are totally dharmic. We are totally fulfilling our thing. Each of us has a way, each of us has a way.